Hi everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome! I hope you're all doing well today. I have some information for you, and I choose to call it information because I cannot call it news. Even Bleeding Cool, this is where I get it from, they don't call it news. They call it a rumor. And before I get started, I would just like to please ask you, if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, smash the bell hard like She-Hulk, so you'll get every notification when a new video is uploaded. Like and share this video with others so they can hear about it too. Now, this first article is titled, "The Next DC Crisis May Remove Batman and Superman Marriages." Okay, for one, I think there should be an editor for this site because it sounds better when you say it like this. The next DC crisis may remove Batman's and Superman's marriages. That is the possessive form of grammar. Okay. Anyway, this was posted by Rich Johnston. Don't know him, never spoken to him. I just read these articles every now and then. It reads, "Earlier today, Bleeding Cool revealed the well-sourced rumor that the next big event from DC Comics would simply be called Crisis, and yes, would be a reboot." Okay, now we got I have a few different tabs open because this is the article which is being spoken about, titled "Revealing DC Comics Next Crisis Event." Now, I'm not going to read all of this to you because it basically just is like a long summary of the DC Comics crisis events all the way up to Rebirth and then Metal, and where he wrote, "And Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo managed to persuade DC Comics not to call their series Dark Crisis, but Metal, and gave us the Dark Multiverse underneath the 52 universes. A host of Elseworlds attacked, and Sandman got dragged in, and as the series referenced all the crises in a melting pot of gorgeousness and opened up the DC multiverse to everything else. The Goldfish Bowl dropped in the ocean as the Source Wall was split asunder, and Brian Bendis bought Superman's red trunks back." No, he didn't. Actually, that was Dan Jurgens, because his story was the first one in Action Comics 1000. Brian Bendis' story was the last one. And it says here, "And right now a lot of people are having fun with it all. The Source Wall has broken, and all sorts of things are flooding into the multiverse, which means it's reboot time again. Bleeding Cool has been told by high-level industry sources." Now, see, that doesn't even sound right. It sounds better like this: Bleeding Cool has been told by a group of high-level industry sources about the next big DC Comics crossover event, and its name, Crisis. They really need an editor for their articles. Not a crisis of anything. Not an anything crisis, simply Crisis. Okay, now before we go on, this is what Jim Lee put out on Twitter a few hours ago, and I don't know why this isn't loading. Okay, here it is. This was a few hours ago. Rumors of reboots are ridiculous. Just stop with the misinformation. Thanks and have a great weekend. So Jim Lee, one of the people who works at DC Comics, is saying there is no reboot. But there is going to be a crisis. Okay, back to the article at hand that I started out with. He continues on with this main article. If true, it seems a cruelty to do so soon. The DC Comics universe is currently working better than it has for a long time. I totally agree with him. I do. It's doing excellent right now. The Superman titles have been strong. The Batman titles are soaring to new heights. I agree with him. Those books are doing good. Although Detective Comics has their ups and downs, And books like Flash, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn are performing really well. I will admit this. When Rebirth started, I did not collect Harley Quinn. It was shortly after Rebirth started that I started collecting Harley Quinn. And it was only because of the backstory that had Harley Quinn as Joker's girlfriend. And he goes on and says, but the books are looking less and less like their movie and TV equivalents. I didn't know that they ever did, except for Supergirl, which looked like almost a clone of the TV show. Anyway, he says, importantly, we have a married Superman to Lois Lane with a kid, Jonathan Kent, and we are about to have a married Batman to Catwoman with a kid, Damian Wayne. And suddenly, DC's two main superhero comics are about married fathers. Well, I wouldn't say that they're about married fathers, but that's one aspect of those two characters. And he goes on to say, this is the issue that saw Marvel Comics remove the marriage of Peter Parker and Mary Jane from their continuity. He should have said their continuity, just to emphasize that he's speaking about Marvel right there. He says, it also saw DC do the same with the New 52, rebooting to that Superman and Lois Lane were not even a couple, as well as removing the marriages of Flash and Aquaman and forbidding Batwoman to marry as had been planned. Since then, the marriage to Lois Lane and their child, Jonathan Kent, had been injected into continuity by Dan Jurgens, and he did an awesome job, an excellent job. And the wedding of Batman and Catwoman has been a planned sales success for the last 2 years. And Aquaman has asked Mera to marry him. This all seemed to be Jeff Johns' plan to remake some of what was lost with the New 52 and take it further. But Jones is very far removed from the comics these days, with only Doomsday Clock and Earth 1 to keep him attached. That's true. I don't think he has much to do with the comics at all. So, just as I hear that Crisis will be DC Comics' upcoming big event, so I also hear one of their key figures at DC Comics wants several characters to be unmarried again. I wonder what Mephisto is up to, and also who knows where this will end up. And look at this. 1.6k shares. I admit I'm the one that shared it, but it was when I was using my phone and I didn't want to lose track of this article. And I've read some of the comments about this, at least I did a few hours ago, and they've increased in number. And just about every one of them say that this is a dumb idea, basically. Because even Rich Johnston says that, like he did say, that the titles have been doing really good. They've been going strong. So why would this even be a consideration? And furthermore, why even have another Crisis event? The last one, the previous one, was in 2015, Convergence. I think it was to mark the 30th anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I believe was 1986. But we have this. Let me see if I can. This is Justice League No Justice #1. Amanda Waller is planning for something to happen, because she apparently is monitoring the Suicide Squad, the Titans, the Teen Titans, and look over here to the right. Crisis Alert. And I won't even go into I won't even review this comic right now, because there's so much I could say about it, and I have my own feelings about it. None of them really good. But look at this here. Crisis Alert. And here we're hearing that the next big event is going to be called Crisis. That can't be a coincidence. However, he could have just written this article, to get clicks and views. That's my speculation. I am hoping this is just rumor, and his well-sourced rumor wasn't even documented in here. But of course, I guess they don't have to give the name of their source. But I saw someone mention in one of these comments that said something to this effect: that if DC does this, if they dissolve the marriages of Superman and the marriage to come of Batman, then that person is going to drop every DC Comics title. This would be a very bad move from a business standpoint for DC Comics. I have seen people comment that Dan Jurgens' run on Action Comics is what got them interested in Superman again. And Dan Jurgens is the one who brought the family aspect back to Superman, along with Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, who wrote Superman, his main title. And there's been hints, at least, well, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there's been hints. It sounded like that Brian Michael Bendis was going to retcon the marriage of Superman and Lois Lane in his Man of Steel event. When I read the synopsis for all 6 issues a while back, it literally scared me, and I'm talking literally, because my chest started pounding. My heart was pounding with fear for those 2 wonderful characters, Superman and Lois Lane. It showed that Lois Lane can be a strong woman who has a job, and she can also be a mother at the same time. But yet, in the DC Nation #0 story, Lois Lane is out of the picture. She's left Metropolis. So that's another big red flag to go up. So I don't know what's going on, but I am going to classify this as rumor until something definitive is said. And if this happens, if Superman's marriage and the marriage to come between Batman and Catwoman are retconned, then I too will most likely drop all of the DC Comics titles that I am currently reading. And there will be others who will do the same. So, I don't know who in the DC Comics office wants this, but they should be fired. That's my opinion. That's all I have for now. Please do subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, please do smash that bell like She-Hulk so you'll be notified each time a new video is uploaded. Also, please like and share this video with others so they can hopefully enjoy it as well. Till next time, true readers.